Hi, good evening. Keir Starmer has lost control. The mums in Epping have won. The Bell Hotel has got to be closed down. All of them have got to be moved out of there. All of the illegals within, I think it's 14 days. I say now we've got to lock them up behind barbed wire on old army camps. Are you with me or are you against me? I tell you, if that doesn't happen, Starmer's going to put them, and I've warned you about this for weeks, he'll put every illegal migrant, every one of these unvetted 52,000 who have come into the country since that idiot took charge, he'll put them in houses of multiple occupation right next to you. Is that what you want? Welcome to the John Gaunt Show. Good evening, Britain. Well, Starmer has definitely lost control. He was like a little boy outside the headmaster's office yesterday with Trump. He's a nobody. He's a nothing. He's got no spine. He's an amoeba. But tonight, his troubles have just got worse. The Bell Hotel in Epping has been ordered to remove every single illegal migrant within 14 days. What's worse about this is that Yvette Cooper and the government lawyers tried to derail this injunction today, this temporary injunction. They tried to get it thrown out. Last time I looked, I thought Starmer, Cooper, and the rest of this lousy Labour government were meant to work for us. Well, we've been telling them clearly, haven't we, for weeks and weeks and weeks, we don't want these people in hotels funded by our tax dollars. They've ignored us. He's allowed 52,000 in. Don't get me wrong, the Conservatives were just as bad, but we've got a clear and present danger. One of the reasons why this injunction was granted was because there's been allegations, that's how we have to put it at the moment, of sexual assaults by some of the people living in that hotel. Well, if Starmer thinks, I'll put them in homes of multiple occupation, that's not going to wash, is it, either? Because I'll point you to Nuneaton, where there are serious allegations of rape and strangulation of a 14-year-old girl, allegedly by Afghan illegal immigrants living in two separate homes of multiple occupation run by Serco. So putting them into those houses is not the answer, but that's what Starmer wants. I'll tell you what the bloody answer is, you buffoon. You need to call a state of emergency. The mums of Epping have fought back. They won. You lost, Keir Starmer. But this is just the beginning, because you and Yvette Cooper, on the very first day or second day of being in office, you scrapped the Rwanda plan. Now, I had reservations about it, but that meant you left our borders wide open. And now it's the working class of Britain who's paying the price for your stupidity, because we haven't got any form of deterrent. We've basically said, on you come, here's the squeegee soap, here's the 4-star hotels, you walk into our towns, get up to whatever you want to get up to, and we won't even check if you come back every night. Oh, we don't know who you are. That's the added bit, because you've thrown your passports overboard. Don't worry. This is a classic example of the British government putting the rights of people who don't even live here. Some of them don't, well, most of them, I would imagine, don't have the right to be here, but they're putting their human rights first. I say enough weakness. Did you not learn anything by going to see President Trump yesterday, Keir Starmer? He is almost brought peace, and I think he will actually, and he should get the Nobel Peace Prize. Trump has done it by being tough. He has done what he said on the can. He told people in his election manifesto he was going to put America first, and he has done so. You just told a pack of lies, the Labour Party, and indeed you, Keir Starmer. You're a lying fraud. Sue me if you wish. That's what you are, and you're weak as well. And what's happened then is we've got 52,000 at least that have come in since you've been in charge. Now is the time to find a backbone. Be more like Trump. Trump has reduced by 95% the amount of illegals getting in on the southern border. Or be like Greece. All those people were going to Greece. They said, you turn up in Greece with your documents, we'll send you back to your country. If you turn up with no documents, we'll simply lock you up. Why aren't we being the same? These people, and I'm telling you, Britain is a tinderbox. If this idiot Starmer and Yvette Cooper, oh, by the way, your government are having an appeal against this temporary injunction. They're trying to get it overturned now, right? They're even now trying to change it. I thought they worked for us. It's despicable what's going on. So what they need to do, in my personal opinion, is declare a state of emergency. You've heard me say it before. Put the army on the beach at Dover, the navy in the Channel, hotels closed overnight. All illegals who are already here, give them the option to go home or put them on those luxury coaches and take them to old army camps, old air bases. Make sure there's a fence to start with, because what happened at Brize Norton, but put them there, guard the fences, and not allow them out. Still treat them humanely. 3 meals a day. They can even have a PlayStation if they want, or a TV. I don't really give a shit. What I don't want them doing is walking into our town centres. Call me old-fashioned, but I want our women folk, our sisters, our daughters, our wives, our girlfriends to be safe, to walk the street. We've got enough of our own homegrown rapists and paedophiles. We don't need to import anymore. And of course, that means I'm not saying that every one of the dingy boys is a crook or a potential rapist, but we don't know. We simply don't know. Keir Starmer doesn't know who they are. They're all undocumented. Most of them are fighting age. None of them are, well, a few of them are children and women. The majority are young men. If you're agreeing with what I'm saying or disagreeing, will you share this stream right now? Because I believe Britain is waking up. And I think people looked at Trump yesterday and saw a real leader, a hero, a man who stands by his word, even if you don't like him. You've got to admit he's got some balls, and he's also got some backbone. The people of Epping fought and won. Starmer has lost control. It is time for a state of emergency. Lock them all up now. Any more who arrive, put out a clear signal on videos. We will deport you immediately, straight back to France. When we pick them up in our territorial waters, as they just come out of French waters, tow them back to France. Little Macron, he can't even stand up to his missus, so he's not going to object. But if he does, give him a metaphorical slap. I've had enough of France taking all our money. I've had enough of these hotel companies taking all our money. £8 million a day to put up these illegals. And I've had enough of the Liberals dominating the agenda. Today, they even want to change our flag. They think our flag is racist and loads of cobblers. We've got to stand up. The mums of Epping showed the way. Stand up and fight back. Illegal migrants, get them out of the Bell Hotel in 14 days, because Starmer, by the way, is finished. And I don't think that people will be silenced. Hotels should be for British families, not illegal migrants, not fake asylum seekers, not boatloads of fighting age men dumped in our towns. Close the hotels this weekend. barbed wire army camps only, and they can live in tents, and they can live well like that. But I would imagine after a few weeks, they'd want to go home, and then we should help them go home. If Starmer moves illegals into HMOs, I believe Britain will explode. People demand deportation, not accommodation. The Bell Hotel ruling is just the beginning. Are you with me or are you against me? Let's have your opinions. It is time for action. The spineless amoeba, I've put him in a, if you're watching the telly, you'll see I've put him in a yellow hard hat and a yellow sort of high-vis jacket. I've got the pictures of the men arriving on the dinghies, and we've got the brave women. And that's something else I want to say as well. The trouble we've had at these protests has all come from the left-wingers. It hasn't come from the women. They've played this brilliantly. The women and the daughters and the sisters and the girls of Epping and other towns have stood up and said enough is enough, and they've won. But we have to be careful because it's only a partial victory. Already, your Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, is planning on an appeal because this is a temporary injunction. She wants to reverse it. Today, the government used your money to pay highly paid human rights lawyers to try and defeat the British people in a British court of law. Despicable, disgusting. But luckily, the judge saw through it and wasn't having it. Just was not having it. 14 days, I think it is, they've got to be out of that hotel. The company who run it, Samami, they've made an absolute fortune. They run hotels all over the country. They're crying. Well, dry your fucking tears because we've had enough. And the same with Serco. The gravy train will be over, not because Starmer will make a decision like Trump, because all that will happen here, Starmer will brick himself like he did over Trump, like all the... Did you see those European leaders? Oh, Mr. Trump, Mr. President, queuing up, basically, to lick his derriere. They're cowards, all of them, cowards. Got no policies, don't put their countries first. And thank God we've got a leader of the free world who isn't going to take any SH1T off them. Are you with me or against me? I say Starmer's lost control. I say the Epping mums have won and they'll continue to win because I believe that we've all got to get behind them. And I say, well, now we must lock up the illegals. But I'm telling you, he's going to try and shove them into homes of multiple occupation. This is your channel. This is John Gaunt TV, and also the podcasts as well. Have your say. Type up a comment. Get involved in the debate. Britain is burning, and Britain will be in a terrible situation if we don't stand up to this idiot. Are you with me or against me? If you want to help me, don't forget you can. www.buymeacoffee.com. I think I deserve one just for that monologue there. /John Gaunt. www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt. I've got a really lovely message from somebody who donated today, which I will read out later in the show. He met me years ago when I was test driving Jaguars around Silverstone. Big tale to tell you there. Me, Chris Hoy, some boxer guy, some New Zealand rugby player whose name I've forgotten, and a few other people. It was when I was a somebody. And his email sums that up. And he also calls me a crap driver. We'll talk about that later in the show. And I'll also tell you who the best driver was that day. I'm still proud of her. Also, you can donate just by clicking on that $sign on the bottom of the screen and then send me whatever you fancy, cash preferably, in a sticker or a super sticker, and you get your name on the screen. It would really, really help me. There's never been a time when we've needed the independent media as much as we need it now. All right, let's move on Karen Eccleston, we need an underground resistance pronto, says Karen on Facebook. We don't need to be underground. We need to be out front telling him, you are not going to do this. Can you believe your government, Karen? Can you believe them? They're now using your money to try and get this overturned because they say, oh, it's going to put incredible pressure on us. Because they say now every other council, it's the council who brought the injunction in, Epping Forest, they're now saying every council is going to do it. Yes, you don't need to be Einstein to work out that. And they say that will bring too much pressure on the Home Secretary. Oh, dooms. Go and cry on head, balls, round shoulders, you buffoon. You're not up to the job anyway. Can't take the heat. Get back in the kitchen, Yvette. Sorry, that was a bit sexist. But you know what I'm trying to say. It's just annoying. They're using your money to force things on you. They haven't asked. It's not the homes of multiple occupation. They haven't told the councils that people are there. It's an absolutely disgrace. Lady Cats, what are you saying? They shouldn't be here full stop. Well, yes, I agree. That's why we need the deterrent. But we can't get the deterrent now because he ripped up Rwanda and didn't replace it with anything. So what I'm saying is now, close the hotels, put them in tents, put the army on the beach, and put the navy in the ocean. And when those boats come out of the French territorial waters, whoosh, take them straight back. France don't like it. We'll have you. We'll have a fight with Macron. It'll be like Margate or Brighton with the mods and the rockers. I think we'll win. His wife gives it anyway. You know where I'm coming from, and I'm only half joking. Mark Chorner, absolutely delighted to hear about Epping. See, the libel traitor of a Home Secretary Cooper has already tried to get the decision overturned. Yes, she did today. They left it to the last moment. Sneaky lawyers, leeches, trying to get it thrown out of court. They lost. The judge ruled for the council, but more importantly, ruled for the people. No, not the people. The women, the daughters, the children, the sisters, the mums, your mother-in-law of those areas. And not just for Epping, but for Nuneaton. And yes, I really hope tomorrow every bloody council say we've had enough. You created the problem, Starmer. You and the political establishment, the idiots before you, Rishi Sunak, Liz Truss, the lettuce, Boris Johnson. He was one of the worst. But in the here and now, we've got a problem. So the first thing to do is to stop any more coming. You need a real deterrent, like I've just suggested. And then you need to start getting rid of the ones who are already here. Mark carries on to say, it says it all. Labour are detestable. Yeah, or deplorable, I'd say. You're right. Susan Paris on Facebook. Hello, Susan. What you're saying, John, is common sense. But our government don't do common sense. Well, let me tell you, they're going to have to, because we, the British people, are not going to put up with this. We are waking up. We're seeing the con. I told you weeks ago, the con will be fill the hotels, then say, oh, yes, you're right about the hotels. We've already reduced the number we're using. Remember the Conservatives? They had 450 hotels. We're only using 280. You shouldn't be using one hotel. I'm sure you agree with me, Susan. Thank you for your comments. Tell your friends about the show. Maggie Young, one of our regulars. Did you hear about the young teenager from Epping? She went out, bought some men's boots and put it on her doorstep. So it was thought that a man was living in the house. And she said, that's true. Well, Maggie, I'm not going to deny it's true. I don't know. But you mean we're having to live like that? Women are in that much fear. They're having to make things up. I think it's a disgrace. But I don't think every one of those people, one, I don't think they're all illegal in the sense of, I think some of them will be asylum seekers. Two, I don't think they're all rapists or murderers or muggers or thieves. And three, some of them might have skills we need. But you wouldn't know because the clot, the fool, the amoeba, spineless Starmer doesn't know. If you got, I keep saying this, if you've got a boat full of them, and I said to him, tell me who they are. Who's that one there with the beard who says he's 14? He wouldn't know. Well, why don't you check if he's 14? Let's do a DNA test. Not allowed to. Human rights. That's why we've got to rip up the ECHR and the human rights have our own bill of human rights, of course. But we're not in Europe. I know you want to be, Starmer. That's what yesterday was about. It was not the seven dwarfs. The seven dwarfs of political class going to see the headmaster. There was no need for you to be there, Starmer. And then when you spoke to Trump and did your little 2-minute speech, you looked like a pathetic specimen. Give up, man. You're useless. You're absolutely useless. Denise Deacon, the left-wing activists are just aggressive with those masks. Ban all face coverings in public. The cowards. Denise, you make a really good point. Not only that, Denise, what we all also need to know is at the end of all this, we want the police in the dock, the police who are in charge, who escorted, not only in Epping, but in other places, brought the Antifa hate mob with their blooming face coverings on into the crowd. They caused the trouble. There was no escort for the so-called far right. And I'm fed up of people shouting, wait this, wait this, wait this. And other filthy accusations at these women who are only concerned with the protection of their children. If there hadn't been any rapes, if there hadn't been any sexual assaults, you might have half an argument. But there have been. You've got no argument. And they've been from people who are living in the hotels and in the homes of multiple occupation. These people need to be not under lock and key, but they've got to be behind secure or razor wire or barbed wire fences. Are you with me or against me? Pam McMillet says, I'm with you on Facebook. Thank you, Pam. Preston journalist, I wouldn't worry about Starmer. He's finished. Given Sadiq Khan's comments about him. Well, you know what's happening there. Sadiq Khan is, again, I don't want to be big-headed, but I said this months ago. Khan was positioning himself to be the next Labour leader and therefore the Prime Minister of our great country. Not content with fucking up London, he now wants to do it to the whole nation. Sir Sadiq, no way. Labour have got to be kicked out of office. We need an election. We need a state of emergency. The country, he's lost the country. I don't care what you say. He's lost the country. The lies, the filthy lies to pensioners, students, farmers. And now, have you seen they're coming after anybody who's got a nice house? Good job I haven't got one anymore. He'd have hammered me when I had my footballer's mansion with the lions with funny eyes. Oh, remind me, I've got to tell you about the bloke who taught me how to drive a Jaguar. I think he gave up, actually. Johnny or Roberts. Is it law or not? If you want to claim asylum, you should have proof of identity first. Disposing of identity ends your rights to be in this country. Simple. Deportation. Well, that's what I would do. That's what Trump's doing. So they can't play that trick. But that is the trick they play. Just like, oh, I'm a Jamaican rapist. Oh, no, I've gone gay. I can't go back to Jamaica because they're horrid to rapist people. And we go, oh, yeah, really? What about human rights? Oh, here's the leech who wants to defend you. How many hundreds of thousands is he going to make? Let's toughen up completely. Jackie Ward, perhaps the government will now put the illegals in tents in warehouses and stop handing them free healthcare. No, they won't do that. I don't necessarily mind about the free healthcare, Jackie. What I do want is a medical when they first arrive. Do you know they don't have medicals? They don't check them out. You'd want to check them for every disease, wouldn't you? And their age. No, you can't do that. It's against their human rights. Didn't you know, Jack? We can't do that. We can't do that. If you're just joining in, it's the John Gaunt podcast. I'm here most days, Monday to Thursday, definitely at 6:30. I do extra shows. I also do shows where I have a guest and we have a long form interview. You can find it all. The best place to find it all is on YouTube. It's the John Gaunt TV. John Gaunt TV. Just put that. Or just put John Gaunt in. It'll come up. Then press subscribe. It's free. Once you've subscribed, that means you'll get access to all the archive of videos and podcasts, and you'll be told when I'm doing another one. It's free. But if you think what I'm doing is good, perhaps you'd like to help fund me. And the way to do that is press that little dollar button at the bottom of the screen and donate a few quid to me, or a lot of quids, whatever you fancy. Or do what a lot of other people do. Go to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt and donate anything from a £5 upwards. So if you're just joining in, where have you been? We're talking about the victory in Epping. The judge today ordered the Bell Hotel to remove all the illegal immigrants within 14 days. The people of Epping stood up and they won. But Britain is still being betrayed because Starmer has scrapped Rwanda, our only deterrent. He's left our borders wide open and proven just how weak he is. Trump showed yesterday, ever since he's been in power, that strength works. People respect it. He crushed illegal immigration in America within months. Starmer's delivered nothing but chaos. If you want to comment, just put a comment at the bottom and I'll come to you in a minute. Well, now it's time for action. I say a state of emergency must be declared. Troops must be sent to Dover. The Navy must patrol the Channel. Any boats that are coming over, once they get out of French territorial water, we tow them back. And if the French want to argue, we'll argue with them. We've taken them on before, and we've saved their asses at least on two occasions, as far as I can remember. Every hotel now must be cleared out. All the illegal migrants must be housed only in secure former military barracks or camps or airfields, behind barbed wire, in tents. They should not be housed within our communities, because if they are, the British government, Yvette Cooper, Keir Starmer, are playing Russian roulette with your daughters, your wife, your mum, your sisters, and it's despicable. New arrivals must be returned immediately to France. Don't even let them get their flip-flops on the sand at Dover. Is the sand at Dover, was it called? I don't know. The ECHR must be torn up now. The people of the UK, I believe, are demanding deportation, not accommodation. Starmer has lost control. Britain must take it back. With me or against me? Let's have your comments. Right, let's take some more of those comments, shall we? James Vernon, I'd gladly buy you a cup of coffee. Stop by across the pond. Well, if you're in America, you can still do it. It's the internet, don't you know? You can pay $6 or something. Just have a go, James. Just check it out. www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt. There's no excuses. Fraser Ford's put his thumb up. Thank you, Fraser. If wanting children and women to be safe is racist, then I'm a racist, says Tina McIntyre. And she's put a load of Union Jacks at the end of her message. Thank you, Tina. You've summed it up. You've actually summed it up. I don't like these comments. Paul Stentiford says the king needs to stand up and kick this government out. He says, I know he can, but he's not. So why are you bothering wasting your time writing something? It's just not going to happen. It's impractical. Imagine the constitutional crisis that would engender. We live in a democracy. Let's get the state of emergency. He'll cock it up, and then we should demand a general election. I just want to read out this message now from a guy called Bill Tully. I wrote back to him. He wrote today and he bought me 3 coffees, 15 quid he put in. So I write back to everybody who gives money, who donates. I said, and he's written back to me. I said, thank you, it's very generous. And he's written back saying, hello, John. I was a fan of your show before I met you. And I thought, what's he on about? And so it was my delight when I got to instruct you around a circuit, a racing circuit, in a Jaguar XKR, a car that you told me on the day that you had. Yeah, I did. I used to be sponsored by Jaguar. Why I'm especially fond of you, this is the sweet bit. Why I'm especially fond of you is that you remembered my name and gave me a name check the next day on your radio show. Not many people would have bothered to. A, remember my name, and B, give me a mention by name on your show on Talk Sport. You were and are a lovely man. Isn't that a nice thing to say? I've never been called that. I've been called a right bastard and all sorts of things. Fascist, racist, everything, but not lovely, but thank you. Then he says, but I must admit, not the best driver I've ever sat next to. And then he's put emojis of people crying and laughing. So I've ever sat next to. So I hope that one day you'll get back to the popularity that you richly deserve. I want to get back to the salary if I can. My very kindest regards, Bill Tully. Bill, I can't tell you how much that message means to me. It's fabulous. Thank you very, very much indeed. I'll tell you about that day. I was kind of sponsored by Jaguar. So I got invited, and there was me, Chris Hoy, his wife. There was some famous All Black, whose name I've forgotten, rugby player. Not Rio Ferdinand. Anyway, another footballer, several other people, and me and Lisa. And we had an XKR at the time. And I'm a crap driver. I can't park. That's the one that I am, a useless driver, right? And probably too timid as well. So you go around this course and they tell you when, to hit the corner and how to get out of it and the apex and all that. It's never been my strength, any form of maths, and I was pretty useless. Anyway, they also had the JPS Jaguar there. Do you remember that? The John Player Special? And they didn't let you drive that. You had to sit next to one of these professionals like Bill. And they took you around. Oh, man. And it was so scary, right? Anyway, then you have a go in the XKRs. So I'm doing it. And then I come back and I said, oh, where's my missus? Where's Lisa? And somebody, I don't know if it was you, Bill, but somebody said, oh, she's just gone for another ride in the John Player Special. She just became, because I said to her, do you want to come? Oh, I don't really, she's not really into all this showbiz shit. She said, no, I don't really want to. I don't want to do that now. I like driving your Jag, but I don't particularly want to do that. I said, come on, it'll be a good day, corporate and all that. Anyway, within about 5 seconds of getting in that XKR or in the JPS, she became a petrol head. She became a female version of Jeremy Clarkson. Obviously, much better looking and a nicer person, but that's what she became. And you know what else? She was bloody brilliant. I think she won on the day. She had the best time in the XKR. Much better than Chris Hoy, although Chris Hoy's wife was pretty good as well. It was a fantastic day out. And until you mention it there, Bill, I hadn't thought about that day for years and years. So thank you for bringing that. I'll tell Lisa when she comes in later as well. Brilliant day. And as for getting back, Bill, slowly, bit by bit, I'm crawling back up the cliff. Not the White Cliffs of Dover, but I'm getting back. And I know what I'm producing is bloody good. And that's not being big-headed. That's just stating a fact. I was listening to somebody who's, I'm not going to name him because I like him, but it was almost word for word what I'd said last night or the night before. People are beginning to notice, they're beginning to copy, they're beginning to do the similar subjects to me. It's great. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, but one of these big radio groups or TV groups should just really think, instead of having all the tribute acts, why don't we get Gaunty instead? And I'll drop all my opposition to the MSM if you give me a massive salary. But in the meantime, I need you to help me keep these going. And actually, you know what? I like the fact that I'm completely independent doing this. But there we are. That's my stories. We're all being let down by all politicians in power. Get rid of the treacherous ones. There's many of those, my friend, says Ronnie Hurst. Mark Slade, time to end the current government and implement a totally new government with the British-only people's votes. Immigrants shouldn't be allowed to vote. None of them. Well, that's nonsense, Mark. What? So somebody who's come from Ireland, their family came from Ireland, they can't vote? Or the West Indies? Give your head a wobble. Unless they've worked and paid taxes. Oh, that's different. And been legally in the country for at least 10 years, minimum. And their women ain't allowed to vote unless they've been working and paying tax. Same goes. 10 years, no votes for non-British people. You're having a go at Muslims there, really, aren't you, Mark? I understand your frustration. Don't think it's the answer. If somebody comes And we say, yes, you can contribute, and you've got the skills, or even not got skills, but we need your kind of people, then do so. Because today, you know, I was lying in bed this morning and I was thinking this through. Because sometimes it gets to me when you keep getting called racist, or gammon, or all the other shit they call you. I was thinking about my friend Reg. Her name isn't Reg. Her name is Regina something something, and then she's got this surname which is like reading the optician's wall chart. Yeah, she's Polish. Well, her dad was Polish. She's English, obviously. She's been here as long as I have, and she's about my age. She's a wonderful woman. Her dad came either just before the war or just after the war. Lots of Polish people, I think it was during the war, came and they became miners. M-I-N-E-R-S, not the other sort. And they worked in pits in places like Nuneaton, but particularly in a place in Coventry called Binley. The pit's no longer there, but that's where he worked. And this dad of hers, if you think of the stereotypical Polish middle-aged man, when I met her, I never went out with her. She actually went out with well, I won't say who, but a very close friend of mine. She was lovely. But her dad, he was built like the proverbial brick shithouse. Massive guy with a huge head and a shaved hair, you know? You wouldn't mess with him. And he spoke English with a peculiar accent because he was Polish, but he could speak the language. And then I went to school with a guy called Roman, whose dad owned a chip shop. I was telling you about him the other day in Heathcote Street. And my dad used to always have to go and sort him out when he lost the head with some stroppy customers. Polish. Didn't understand the language when they first came, learnt the language. Integrated. And then I thought more about the Polish community in Coventry. They've got their own churches. They've got the Polish club, their own clubs, which is predominantly full of Polish people, and often 2-3 generations now, who have come to live and work and contribute in our country. They've done it. They're fully integrated. Nobody had a go at them. Why can't a particular community not do the same? He used to also make his own vodka and his own wine. My God, it blew you. Unbelievable. So he's dead now. But I just got thinking about the Polish community. So they still kept their traditions. They still kept what they wanted to do at the weekend. And they were just ordinary people. And then became part of Britain, part of Coventry, made the great city that it is. Can't we have more of that? Rather than people moaning about our flag. And look at the Poles now. Poland was a shithole. They all came to work here, didn't they? With Tony Blair, the famous Polish plumbers. But now they're even advertising on the telly for us to go on holiday there. They've got a booming economy. Hard-working people, without a shadow of a doubt. And with you all the way, says Pat Cody Rees on Facebook. Thank you. Paul Stenford says, John, do you think if we put a St. George's cross on the dustbin, then Birmingham Council would finally take it away? Oh, I love it. I love sarcasm. Somebody said we should do that on the manholes as well. They've been painting, if you've seen this, the flag of St. George on the mini roundabouts. I think it's a cracker. Birmingham Council haven't emptied the bins, haven't emptied the bins for months and months, right? Because they're all on strike because council's bankrupt. Oh, I don't know who to blame for that. However, people have started painting the flag of St. George onto the roundabouts. Guess what they did this morning? Birmingham City Council, absolutely skinned, not got a brass farthing. They've sent out workers to paint over the Red Cross. It's a bit like Tower Hamlets. Tower Hamlets are ripping down the flag of St. George, ripping down the Union flag, saying that it's dangerous. Birmingham's doing the same. But in Tower Hamlets, which is run by a guy who was found guilty of rigging elections, a Muslim guy, by the way, they left the Palestine flags up for ages and ages. And you can still go to parts of London, Tower Hamlets in particular, and you'll see the Palestinian flags. How come that's okay? And I'll go back to the roundabouts for a moment. Sorry, we've gone off subject a bit. How come we can paint every zebra crossing rainbow colours to show that we're in with the LGBT, GVS, WXYZ community, but we can't paint a red cross on a white roundabout? I don't know about you. I find those rainbow bloody there's one in Coventry, and there's also one by the fire station in Leamington Spa. I always have to slam the anchors on because I don't realise it's there, because it doesn't register in your brain, does it? Because, call me old-fashioned, you're old-fashioned, a zebra crossing is meant to be black and white. Maybe I've got it wrong. Maybe that was racist. But now it's all these other colours. I can't keep up with this modern world. But I can't see why. Well, I can see. I know why they're doing it. Because they hate us. And I see Starmer's now made a speech about, hanging the flag and doing the flag and being patriotic. That's what it's all about. Yeah, I'm patriotic. Bullshit. Absolute useless talk. We'll see how patriotic you are with the flag, because I believe that everybody should buy a flag of St. George, particularly the flag of St. George, because that's the one that really winds up the libtards. And you should hang it from your bedroom window. Remember that fat idiot MP? She's now a dame. She was so useless as an MP. Emily, whatever her name is. Starmer made her a dame, because it's like the BBC. You get promoted to your level of mediocrity. She's now in the House of Lords. Emily Thornberry, that's her name. She was upset during the Euro Championships a few years ago because some bloke in her constituency put the flag of St. George out of his bedroom window, just rammed it in the window frame. And she was condescending and patronising, right, about it. Well, that's what they'd be like now. So I would love everyone to get a flag, and they don't cost much. And good luck to the flag makers. They'll make a few bob, although they're probably all made in China, aren't they? Get a flag and hang it from your bedroom. I'm going to do it. I really am. Because I want to do that to Starmer and all the libtards. Because I've had enough. I saw that guy they said he was from the University of Birmingham. He was on telly this morning. He's not. He's from City University, which isn't a university. It's a polytechnic in Birmingham. He says being an academic snob. He's not from the place I went to. And he's on there, Kenwood or something. Kenwood Mix. I can't remember what his name is. Anyway, right? He's as English as me and you, but he's got black skin. And he's a professor of black history. And basically, he says the flag's wrong, especially the Union flag and the flag of St. George. The flag of St. George, well, that's a load of fascists, right, and skinheads. And Adil Ray, who not quite well, but I did know him, because when I was on Radio WM, he was always near the studio. He always waved to me. And Citizen Khan, I know most people think's crap, but I quite enjoyed it, to be honest. I think he's quite a witchy bloke. He was on. And he got involved in the conversation because he was one of the hosts on, until he gets the sack, on Good Morning Britain or whatever it's called. And then they started on about the Union Jack and about, there's all this history. And then they did that famous line that all the anti-racists come out with, there ain't no black in the Union Jack and all that nonsense. And Adil Ray, I think, said, well, if we put a black line in it somewhere, would that say? No! Red, white, and blue. That's the flag. It may have been used at some point in events that were not, because that guy was going on about it's a symbol of the empire. And basically, so according to him, professor of black history, the empire is something we should be totally ashamed of. No, our kids need to be taught about it in the round. There's good and bad. When I went to India, and I've been a few times now, I was amazed. I was a bit kind of ashamed at first because you see these magnificent buildings, right, and the railway and the rest of it. And the taxi driver we'd bought for the week effectively for about 70 quid, right? That's the way it works. He said, oh, yeah, the English made that, Mr. John. That's how he spoke. And he was proud of it. And I was embarrassed at first, and then you get used to it. We don't have to be ashamed of our empire. We have to be ashamed of parts of it, like the slave trade. I agree with. However, I agree with being a bit ashamed about it. We did get rid of it. And I just find it all this idea of put on the horsehair shirt and whip ourselves because we're all bastards, because we're white. I'm a filthy, disgusting gammon wasted. That's what I am. I just think it's pathetic. It's pathetic. Judge a man by what he says. Who said that? Was that Martin Luther King? One of them. I just find it incredible. Incredible. And do you know what as well? I was thinking about this, about the flags. It isn't necessarily the community who want it removed. It's always just a few activists who have decided they're the spokespeople for the community. I don't know when they got elected, because the answer is a bit like Hamas. They didn't. They just appoint themselves. And then they pontificate. And then stupid, thick TV and radio companies get them on. Why? Because they get a reaction. It's like that Shola Moss, whatever her name is. They get her on because it winds you up. They just do it to trigger you. I think that professor's a bit more interested in her, but she's an idiot. There's that other woman. What's her name? She thinks she's really glamorous. Khan. I can't remember what her first name is. Did she win The Apprentice? I don't know what she won. She's another one. Everything that she sees is racist. She could go to the opening of a packet of crisps and find something to object to. And she thinks she's drop dead gorgeous. Well, I don't want to be rude, love. You're not. And it's got nothing to do with the colour of your skin. You're just not drop dead gorgeous. And nor am I, but I give up on this world. Think I get back on mainstream telly if I said things like that? I don't think so, do you? Oh, dear. Anyway, that's me finished, I think. No one's donated. Thank you ever so much. I thought I might get a few bob on YouTube tonight because I think the subject's good and I think I've been on form and I'm quite funny. I've even had a shave, but no, nobody. Maybe you're going to donate after the show by going to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt. If you do, that would be really nice of you. And it just keeps these going. I've enjoyed it tonight. I hope you've enjoyed it. I think it's been a cracking show. Oh, Jackie Ward's given me 3 hearts, as she normally does. But they're black. What's the significance of that, Jackie? Normally they're blue or red. What is the significance of that? Is that like Blind Pew, The Black Spot? That's one of my favourite books ever. Treasure Island. What a book. What a book that is. If you never read it, you should read it because it's not really a children's book. It's a brilliant book. Brilliant. Like Gulliver's Travels. You know, that's not a kid's book. That's a great book. That's a great book. I'm just showing off my literary prowess now. So now I'm going to shut up. I'll see you tomorrow. If you got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug. Hey, don't forget to tell them you love them. If you've enjoyed the show, make sure you retweet it. Tell all your friends about it. And let's build this together. Thank you ever so much. And Bill, coming back to you. You've made my day today with your email. Thank you so much. See you later. All the best.